Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something vital for, well, pretty much everyone dealing with information overload.
hmm
How to read smarter, not just, harder. We are going to look at a specific example, the CLLP reading section for correspondence.
Right, the Canadian English Language Proficiency Index Program Test.
Exactly. But the real goal here, the mission, is bigger than just that test. It's about giving you powerful reading skills you can use anywhere.
That's it precisely. Our deep dive today is about unpacking the core strategies and maybe some surprising insights from our source material, which is excerpts from CLP reading, correspondence strategies.
Okay.
And these aren't just like quick tips. They're really fundamental ways to process text effectively.
Absolutely. We're not just summarizing. We want to dig into the why and the how. Why do these things work? Especially for you, the learner, who wants to grasp stuff quickly, thoroughly, without feeling, completely swamped.
Yeah, that feeling of overwhelm is real.
It really is. Okay,
Yeah.
let's unpack this then. So let's start with the specific context. Part 1 of the CLMIP reading. The source says this involves reading personal correspondence.
Right. Think emails, letters,
Hmm.
that kind of thing.
And the topics sound pretty familiar. Holidays, weddings, arranging dinners.
Yeah, very everyday communication scenarios. It's
Yeah.
quite practical.
Okay, and then the questions.
So first, you get 6 questions testing your understanding,
Mm-hmm.
Meaning content. Did you get what it was about?
Makes sense.
But then there's a second bit. You actually have to respond to the email
Oh, okay, yeah.
by filling in 5 blanks from drop-down menus, so you're interacting with it.
I see. So that's 6 plus 5, 11 questions in total for this part.
Exactly. 11 questions just for part 1.
Okay.
It shows how clearly structured it is around understanding and using that everyday communication.
Okay, so to tackle something like that efficiently, the source brings up a key skill first. Skimming,
Skimming.
defined as a quick read for general ideas. And this is interesting. It specifically says not necessarily reading every word.
Right. That's crucial. It's about getting the gist, the main flavor of the text, without getting bogged down in the details immediately.
Yeah, the source almost implies it's like deciding what not to focus on initially, saving your energy.
That's a great way to put it. Its purpose is first figure out the genre. Is this a letter, an article, an informal email?
Okay.
And specifically for CLPA, you're skimming to quickly find out who wrote it and who it's for.
Right, the sender and receiver. How do you do that quickly?
You'd glance at titles, maybe subtitles, pictures if there were any. But for correspondence, usually the start and end give it away.
Ah, like the example the source gives about formal versus informal. That seems super practical.
Definitely. It notes an informal email might start with hi and end with love, very casual.
Whereas a formal one.
Might use Dear Mr. and Mrs. Smith and sign off with yours faithfully or yours sincerely. That quick check tells you a lot about the tone, the relationship, straight away.
Without reading the whole body first? That's clever. Like getting the vibe instantly. Okay, so skimming gives you the big picture. But what if you need, like, one specific fact? A phone number or a date?
Ah, that's where the next skill comes in. Scanning.
Scanning. Okay, how's that different? It's also quick reading, right?
It is also quick,
Mm-hmm.
but the difference is huge. With scanning, you are actively hunting for particular information. You already know what you need.
So not general ideas, but specifics?
Precisely. For the CLPIP exam context, you'd be scanning for things like a number, a name, a time, maybe a place, or a specific date, concrete details.
Okay, you're like an information hunter.
Exactly. And you do this all the time without thinking. Looking for a name in a list, a price on a menu.
That's true. I do that constantly. The source actually lays out a 4-step process for it.
Oh yeah, what are the steps?
Okay, step 1, decide what information you're looking for. Be specific.
Right. Know your target.
Step 2, decide where in the text you'd expect to find it. Like a date might be near the top or bottom.
Makes sense. Location matters.
Step 3, move your eyes quickly down the page, like really fast, until you spot it.
Just scanning, not reading sentences.
Yeah. And step 4, once you find it, then you read just enough to get the information, and usually you stop reading right after.
Very targeted. Very efficient.
And the source says this exact procedure is what you do for each question in CLPIP Part 1 and Part 2.
That's what it indicates, yes.
Okay.
Both the comprehension questions and the email response part rely on being able to scan effectively. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it, how much we use this skill unconsciously.
Totally. It's about making it a conscious, controlled tool you can use anytime.
Right. From finding don't know, your flight details to picking out a key figure in a report.
Okay, so skimming and scanning are the fast tools. But then the source talks about thorough comprehension.
This is the deeper dive.
It says this is about understanding the total meaning of the reading. So details and the general meaning of like each paragraph or section.
Exactly. It's putting it all together. The source breaks down what thoroughly comprehending actually means.
Okay, like what?
Well, first, understanding the main ideas, obviously,
Yeah.
but also the author's point of view. What's their angle?
Right, not just what they said, but why.
Yes. Second, understanding how the ideas relate to each other. How do they build the argument or the narrative? How does it all connect to the author's purpose?
Okay, the structure and flow.
Third, and this is interesting, noting implied ideas, things that aren't stated directly.
Ah, inferences, reading between the lines.
Precisely. And finally, understanding concepts and vocabulary, maybe even having to guess meanings from the context if you hit an unfamiliar word.
And you need this thorough understanding, presumably, for that second task, filling in the email response blank.
Absolutely. You can't just pick words randomly. You need to have grasped the tone, the context, the meaning of the original message to choose the right words for the reply. That's where the deep comprehension really pays off.
Right, it connects everything. Let's talk a bit more about those inferences.
Okay. Yeah, the source defines making inferences as reading between the lines, using what is there in the text.
To make educated guesses about what isn't explicitly stated.
Exactly. Or, like we said, guessing word meanings from context. It emphasizes that, really, all reading involves inference to some degree. We're always filling in small gaps.
That makes sense. You can't state absolutely everything.
You never finish writing. Or talking, for that matter.
Huh, true. But here's something really helpful, especially for anyone worried about the exam part.
What's that?
The source explicitly says that for CELPIP reading part 1, you will not have to make difficult inferences.
That's reassuring.
Yeah. It says there will always be information available to find the correct answer. You just need to find it and connect it. No wild guessing needed.
Okay, so the clues are definitely in the text itself. You don't need outside knowledge or, psychic powers.
Exactly. That should take some pressure off, I think.
Definitely.
So let's sort of wrap this up. We've looked at 3 key skills today from the source.
Skimming.
For the big picture, the general idea. Then scanning.
Your laser beam for specific facts. Names, dates, numbers.
And finally, thorough comprehension.
Right, for really understanding the whole meaning, the connections, the viewpoint.
And all of this is kind of supported by our ability to make inferences, to read between the lines, which we do naturally anyway.
Yeah, and these skills, they're not just exam tricks, are they? They are crucial for anyone trying to stay well-informed today.
Absolutely, in this, flood of information we all live in.
So, thinking beyond the test, what does this all mean for you, the listener? It's worth considering maybe how consciously applying these different reading gears.
Or tears, I like that.
Yeah. Consciously choosing to skim this email, scan that report, really read this article thoroughly. How could that change how you handle information day to day?
Good question. Could it make things less overwhelming, more efficient?
I think it could, dramatically. Imagine just, knowing you have the right tool for the reading task at hand, whether it's work stuff, news, even just following a recipe without missing a key step.
Definitely useful for recipes. So maybe take a moment to think about which of these skills you already use, perhaps without thinking about it.
Yeah, which ones feel natural?
And where could being a bit more deliberate, more focused, maybe unlock that next level of understanding or just efficiency?
It's all about practice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Keep honing those deep dive skills.
Absolutely. The information's out there. These are the tools to help you navigate it effectively.